Hey everyone, Resolve 18 is here and it is filled with some really exciting features. In this video, we're going to look at the surface tracker and depth map effects. Before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to some of the other features that we are looking forward to getting into in a future video. First of all, Intuitive Object Mask. It was demoed at NAB, but it's not yet released in the public beta. And then secondly, of course, Blackmagic Cloud, with its very own dedicated storage hardware. I think the use of the word cloud might have some people a little confused. Where is the cloud? Is it on the internet or is it in the hardware? We'll get into that. Hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on that soon and demo it for you. But for now, we've been playing around with the surface tracker and depth map effects. If you want to see how they work or maybe get some ideas for how you can start using them in your workflows, this is for you.
For a steady stream of new tutorials from professional Hollywood editors, be sure to subscribe to the Film Editing Pro channel and turn on notifications.
I've got this beautiful hiking shot for us to play around with. I want to use the surface tracker to remove this trail marker that's painted on the rock, and the depth map effect to grade the sky differently from the foreground in this image. Let's start with removing the trail marker. I'm going to open up my effects browser, find the surface tracker, and drag it into my node tree. The surface tracker has two inputs, input 1 and input 2. Input 1 is for the image that we are tracking and attempting to patch. Input 2 is for the patch that we're going to project onto the surface tracker. For the time being, I'm going to feed input 1 and input 2 the same image. It'll become clearer why we're doing that later. When I select the surface tracker node, the Open FX overlay is automatically selected in my viewer. By clicking on the image, I can create the boundary of the surface track. Take note, I've deliberately chosen to do this on the last frame of my clip. That's because the camera's pushing closer and I get the best view of the trail marker on the last frame of the clip. Next, we want to head over to the Mesh tab. There's two different ways for Resolve to generate this mesh. The first is automatic. The second is using a uniform grid where the points are arranged in a nice uniform grid. I'm going to go with automatic point locations because there's plenty of nice crisp features for Resolve to track. Now we can go to the Track tab. I'm going to change the quality from faster to better. And because we're on the last frame of the video, I'm going to click Track backwards. It's not super quick. It's not super slow. I am going to use the magic of editing to speed this up though. Perfect. Now we can head to the Result tab. I'm going to go back to that last frame of the video where we had the best view of the trail marker. Let's see if we can understand what's happening here. The surface tracker is warping input 2 onto input 1. It's basically taking a snapshot of that second input, just one single frame, and warping it onto that surface as the video plays out. Which frame is it using? At the moment, it's currently using the first frame. I'm going to switch the overlay source to our reference frame. Because I started my track from the last frame of the video, by default, that frame has been set as my reference frame. You can see here, my reference frame is frame 452. It's pretty easy to change your reference frame. Just position the playhead and click Set to Current. Now, wait a moment. We're trying to replace the trail marker, but it's just as visible as ever. That's not a problem because we can reposition or shift the overlay that is being applied to the surface tracker. Check out the positioning dropdown. I can reposition my overlay using sliders, or alternatively, just by clicking and dragging on the canvas. When you move the canvas around, be careful. If you click and drag on these red lines, you will warp or distort the image. But if you click somewhere in the middle, it will just do a simple move operation. We've got a nice clean patch of rock under the trail marker. So I'm going to move the overlay up so I can use that clean rock to patch the trail marker. I'll adjust the softness so I don't get a hard edge on the surface tracker's bounds. Let's turn off my FX overlay so I can see how it looks. I'll play it back. I'm going to pipe my patch through a corrector node and use a little bit of gamma to match the rocks better. There's so much more you can do with the surface tracker. You can project images and logos onto surfaces, even moving videos. But for now, let's have a look at the depth map effect. I'm going to start by dragging the effect into my node tree. At the moment, the depth map effect is a little bit processor intensive, so get ready to wait a while and to put up with slower playback. It's done a pretty good job of working out the depth in the scene. Now, because this is an OpenFX node, it's not a corrector node, you'll see that I can't apply any corrections to it. What I need to do is send the alpha channel from this node to an ordinary corrector node, then I can use it to make adjustments. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but at the moment for me, the alpha channel output only works when I turn off the depth map preview. Now if I head over to node 5 and turn on highlight mode, you'll see that it is just selecting, at the moment, the foreground of the image. That's easy for me to fix. In my node key controls, I can just invert the key. This isn't particularly helpful at the moment. Although it is selecting the sky, it's also selecting a lot of the foreground. You'll notice though that the foreground becomes more transparent the closer we get to the camera. Let's head back to the depth map node. I'll turn my preview back on and I'm going to check this box here, adjust map levels. By manipulating the near limit and the far limit, I can make the depth map more aggressive. It's basically an alpha map. White represents parts of the image that are going to be opaque. Black represents parts of the image that are going to be transparent. Obviously with the caveat that I've flipped the key in my corrector node. I'll turn the depth map preview back off and go back to corrector node number 5. It's done a really good job of selecting the sky. It has also selected a little bit of the foreground. Obviously I could refine the depth map a little bit further if I wanted, but I kind of like this. I think it's going to work really well with the atmosphere that I want to add to the image. Let's turn highlight mode off. I'm going to drive some cyan and blue into the gamma. And then I'm going to add another corrector node, connect the alpha channels, grab a power gradient. I'm going to use this just to add a little bit of a gradient to the sky so it gets darker as we go up. No matter how far down I drag this gradient window, look, the grade is not going to affect the foreground of my image because I'm using the depth map to control its opacity. Let's see how this performs playback-wise. I'm getting about 6 to 8 frames per second. I'm on an M1 Max. Maybe this will get a little bit better with subsequent releases that make the effect more efficient, but I'm pretty happy with this. This is more than good enough for me to preview the effects of the grade. I've also picked out some other clips so that we can look at the surface tracker and depth map effect in different scenarios. The surface tracker does not use your original source media. It uses whatever changes that you've made in any of the corrector nodes that are upstream from it. That means there are things that you can do that make your image harder to track, and there are things that you can do that make your image easier to track. To demonstrate, I'm currently in the Mesh tab. Every time I hit this button here, Resolve will analyze the image and create a mesh based on the points of interest it finds in the image. Look what happens if I turn on this node here that's upstream that improves the contrast and the visibility of the texture on the back of his jacket. When I come back into my Mesh tab and hit Regenerate Mesh, you'll see that it identifies way more points as a part of its mesh. I'm not too sure how the plugin works, but I'm assuming that the changes that I've made to the image are going to make it easier to track. I might be wrong. Either way, I can have this node on while I'm tracking the image, and then after I'm done tracking, turn it off or delete it to go back to the nicer looking image. On flat images like this, the depth map effect is fantastic for isolating foreground subjects. Try the isolation tools. Because my subject is in the foreground, I'm going to decrease my target depth. That's pretty fantastic. Let's see how that looks on my corrector node. As you can see, the plugin won't give you a pixel perfect mask. Kind of reminds me of the Magic Mask. It's pretty fantastic, but it is not a substitute for properly rotoscoping someone out. But if I head back to my depth map, I can turn on this map finesse post-processing controls down here and add a little bit of blur. I'll go back to my corrector node. Let's see how that's looking. I can turn highlight mode off now, and I can manipulate just the foreground of this image. One last example. Depth map does a really good job even with complex scenes like this. In depth map, you can clearly see the model walking, all of the signposts, the bus that's passing. These adjust map levels controls are really good, but there are other ways that you can manipulate the depth map. For example, if I pipe its output to an ordinary corrector node, then I can manipulate that depth map using my curves. There are scenarios where you might find that a more intuitive way of editing it. Alright, that's it for now. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you have any specific questions or maybe a suggestion for a future video, please leave it down in the comment. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Hey there! For tons more free editing training, head over to our website at filmeditingpro.com/free training. Here you can download free editing guides along with high-quality video training courses created by our team of professional Hollywood editors. Our tutorials cover a wide range of editing topics, like cutting awesome movie trailers, editing action scenes, how to work with music and sound design, and a lot more. All of these free guides and videos are available at filmeditingpro.com/free training. I'll see you next time.